Okay, this is me, and I'm going to show you how to install a ceiling fan when you don't have anything. So you don't have the hole, you don't have the wiring, you don't have anything. You don't have access to the attic or anything like that. So in this case, the customer didn't want to cut the wall or anything like that. So what I did, I told them that I could use the molding or the raceway, this piece of plastic that you see here, so that way we can run the cable, install the switch and everything in the outlet that they have over there, so that way you can do it yourself. So I'm going to show you step by step how I did it. So this is a picture of the end result, so that way you know how it's going to look like. So here we are going to install the raceway all the way over there, so that way we can install the ceiling fan over there. So we're going to use this, the switch is going to be here. We're going to put it on the wall, and then we're going to put this on the ceiling so that we can mount the ceiling fan. We're going to need the cable, of course. This should be good. Alright, so now we are going to talk about this. So this you can buy it on Home Depot, at least for now. The price is about $13. So as you can see, this is what you're going to put here on the top of the ceiling. So basically this is very easy to install. You have to take this apart. You put a few screws. What I did in this case, I put as many screws as possible, so that way it will be, you know, very well anchored to the ceiling, so it will hold a lot of weight. So that is the main thing. Or if you can get the beam, just that will be great. But in this case, it's very difficult because it's all plaster. It's very difficult to find the beam. Even if you have a stud finder, it will not work. So if you put a lot of screws, it will help almost anything. So like I said before, you're going to put screws here everywhere, and then you're going to have another 2 screws that comes here that is going to be through in here and here, so the way you are going to be able to put the bracket, the ceiling fan bracket on top of this, and that is pretty easy. I'll show you. Alright, in this case we're going to open up the ceiling fan. This is the box that you're seeing here. So it's a very basic ceiling fan. So in this case the ceiling fan is not very heavy, but what I did is tough. I mean, it's tough enough to even hold many ceiling fans, or even a big one. So in this case, we are going to take it out of the bag. You have a lot of bags. When you take this type of almost any ceiling fan, you take them out of the box. You have bags everywhere. So what I would recommend is just get rid of all of them, and then make sure that you have all the pieces, all the screws. If you can put all the screws in one place, that would be great. That part, the black part that you saw, the bracket, is the one that you're going to put against the other one. So there you have the engine. We have the light bulbs. I'm going to try to remove the this kind of holder, you know, for the, I don't remember the name, but if you can tell me the name on the comments, that would be great. So here we have the light fixtures, the glass, the light bulbs. So if you can get rid of all the boxes, like I said, make sure that they don't break. They are very fragile. In this case we have 3 light bulbs. Here's the last one. Because if you do this all the time and you don't do this, you know, as quick as possible, it's going to take you forever. And if you give the customer, you know, like a fixed rate,
you want to finish as soon as possible, so that way you can move to the next customer. Plastic everywhere, like I said. Manual that you're never are going to read. I mean, if you have installed many of these, it's piece of cake. Otherwise, it's going to take you a while the first time, but later it's very easy. So as you can see here, we have the wear nuts, we have the screws for the propels that you have over here. So also more bags, more plastic. So you have to tell the customer always. I ask the customer, hey, which color do you want? Do you want the light or the dark side? If they know, if they have watched Star Wars, maybe you can make a little joke. Otherwise, keep working and say, hey, dark side, light side, and that's it. In this case, you have those washers that you can use them or not. It's no big deal. I mean, these ceiling fans, they last, maybe 4 or 5 years, and then you have to throw them that way, replace them again, depending on the usage. Here you have to unscrew, as you can see, the screws that you see on the side, and then you're going to be able to put the glass inside of that. So you have to, if you do this in advance, it will be easier than when it's up on the ceiling. So you have 3, unscrew them all, and that's it. Do you want it like that or like this? Dark side or light?
Dark down.
Like this?
Yeah.
Okay, the dark side down.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, now they want the dark side, so make sure that you put the dark side on the bottom. So the way you see the bracket right now is how it's going to be facing down. What you see, the light side have to be facing towards you, so that way you know that you're going to have the right side. Now you have to put the screws. Usually it depends on the brand, so in some brands you have to put the screws everywhere. In another brands they just snap it in and that's it. It has a nice mechanism. I prefer that than putting the screws. Putting the screws is a pain in the butt, takes longer. The other one is just snap one next to the other and that's it. But usually I think those are the most expensive one, or they cost more. Usually I don't buy any of that. The only thing I do is I go and I install whatever the customer bought, and that's it. Do not over tight them, so make sure that it's just tight enough, but you don't want to destroy the thread. Now we have that part. That is the last thing that we're going to install. That is the light. Otherwise, the customer doesn't want any light. You can leave it the way it is. As you can see, on the right, it has only the metal thing that is covering where the light should go. Okay, that is the bracket that you have to put the screws. So the way you put the screws against the screw that you have in the other side on the ceiling, and that's it. So now we are going to install it. It's very easy. Those are the screws that we're going to use later when we have to put all the propels in the motor.
Right, as you can see here, we're going to use these screws that we have here. We're going to run them through those holes, put the nuts, and everything will be very tight. Alright, as you can see, you have the hook here, so you have to hook it so that way you don't have to hold it, and then you have the connection here, so white with white, green with green, black with black, and that's it. Alright, as you can see, the blue have to go with the black one, and the rest the way it is. So the way the blue is the light and the black is for the ceiling fan. So now we can put it with the screw, and that's it. Alright, remember to use this big hole to use the hook, and then after that you have to put each screw where it belongs, and this goes in that place. So basically you leave 3 screws, you twist it, and then that is the only hole that is going to be very tight. And then once we have this, we can put the propels.
Before we put the propels, we have to put the metal shield that is around the motor, and then we have to put the propels, otherwise it's not going to fit. Okay, in this process now we are going to put the shield back, and then you spin it, and that's it. So you have to twist it a little bit and it will stay in place. There are no screws or anything like that, at least not in this case. In other cases you may, but not in this case. And then after this you have to grab one by one, so if the customer helps you, you can finish sooner. Someone can hand you, one by one. Otherwise, if you can have it one next to you, or all of them next to you, that will help you a lot. Otherwise, you have to hire 5 helpers, so that way you can have one helper for each propel, and then you can finish sooner. I've never done it before, but it will be nice to to do it someday. Okay, so now I'll speed up the video so that way we can finish.
Alright, if you want to install this, you have to remove the screws that you have on the side. Just plug this in and you should be set. I'm going to explain you very quickly how to connect the cables. So basically what you need is something in the middle to interrupt the flow of electricity. So in this case we have the black cable that is going to be the hot. So the first cable you are going to connect it in the outlet. Make sure that is the small pin on the right, that is the ground, that is the hot, and the one on the left is the neutral. So basically you're going to connect this here on the right, and then that is the hot, and then it goes here, and then from here when you turn on the switch on off, it will interrupt, or it will allow the flow of electricity to continue. And then here you have the ceiling fan or light bulb or anything, it will continue, and then it will continue the cycle, and then everything will work. When you interrupt the circuit with the breaker, with the switch, it will be off, and that's it. So very, very easy. This is the outlet, the electric outlet. So as you can see, this is gold, this is silver, this is the color of the screw. That is easy. Also, you're going to notice that this side is bigger than the other one. The other one is smaller. The smaller side is the hot, and the neutral is the biggest one. It goes here. So basically, the white is going to be here, the black one is going to be here, and the ground is going to be here. But in this case, like I said before, in this house, because it's very old, it doesn't have a ground, so you don't have to connect this. You can leave it connected, but it will not do anything. So basically that is how you connect it. Right now I'm going to use this to connect the ground and the neutral. So the black one, the one that comes from the outlet, you put it here. The one that goes to the ceiling fan is there. Turn it on and off. That's it. So now I'm going to put these two together, and that's it. As you can see, the unit proceed in the middle, so it's not going anywhere. Now we can put everything inside the box, and we should be good. Alright, once it is there, we can put the cover up, the faceplate, and we should be good. Alright, this is the main of the electric panel. So this is the main, and these are the breakers. If you don't know which one is which, you can turn this off completely. But if you are in a sub panel, or maybe in a very old house, turn everything off, so that way you can work safely. That is one of the ways. In this class, I'm going to show you how to check the power. For instance, here in US we have a 120 or 110. In other countries we may have 220. So what you need to do, it depends on the multimeter that you're going to have. You have to, for instance, in this case, it's a good example. Here, as you can see, we have 200. So if you are going to measure 110, you put it in 200, and then you're going to be able to measure 110. If you're going to measure 220, you're going to put it in 600. And then you have another type of multimeter, for instance, like this, that it doesn't have any range. So basically it's an automatic range. So you're going to use this, the V as a Victor, and then that a little wave, as you can see there, that is for AC, alternate current. Otherwise you have the V, and you have the dash and the dots. That is for DC, for direct current. So this is what you're going to do. So once you put each probe in each hole in the outlet, you're going to be able to measure the power. So if you put it here, this is the neutral, this is the hot, and if you see 110, 120, and then that means that you have voltage. Another thing that you can do, I mean, if you want to, is you can measure the neutral with the ground and then see if you have any voltage. Anyway, in order to be safe, just turn off the breaker, otherwise you may get a shock. You have another tool like this, as you can see here. So you can put it just here, and then you will see it will turn red, or it will beep. So that means you have a voltage, and if you put it here, you should not have anything. I've been in another customer that they have a problem with the wiring inside, and one of the connectors was unplugged. With this, it was testing that I had a voltage, but when I was using the multimeter, I didn't have anything. So because one of the cables was energized, the other it wasn't. But just in case, always turn off the power, or turn off the main power, so that way everything is off and you can work safely. Alright, as you can see, we don't have any power now, so everything is good. Make sure you can know anything plugged in. Now I just unscrew this, and I did unscrew that. Now I'm going to connect black on the right, white on the left, and that's it. There is no ground here, so we can leave it there, but it doesn't make any sense if there is no ground in this house. Alright, as you can see, I put this back. I had to make a small cut here on the side, so that way the cable will go like that, and then I have to buy the raceway, because the metal one is a pain in the butt to deal with it. The plastic one is the one that it goes. Alright, as you can see, I put the staples, so that way I can keep it in place until I can go tomorrow, because now it's dark, everything is closed. I want to replace this, but at least this is up and running. I mean, it works just fine. So you can do this one more, so that way it's not as fast, and then tomorrow I will finish this up. Alright, the staple gun for cables works amazing. Tomorrow I will have to remove it anyway. The advantage of using this is that it allows you to have some movement, some slack, so that way if you have to move the cable, it will be easy to accommodate or locate the place the way you want it. Alright, as you can see about this, the liquid, the raceway, and we're going to install it over there, so that way everything is going to look much better. you can see, we're going to put some screws inside of the raceway. If you don't do that, this will be a nightmare, because it's going to last maybe a couple days, couple weeks, maybe. When you have this type of walls that they are not completely flat, they are going to unglue very quickly. So that is why you have to put at least one of each end. It depending on the length of the raceway. Otherwise, you can put one in the middle and one in each end. So that way you are sure that it's not going to unglue by itself. Now you have to try to make it fit. The problem that I had in this customer is that first I was using the metal raceway and they are a nightmare. So use plastic is way easier. So what I did, because I wanted to take advantage of the time that I was there, I run the cable. Otherwise, if you have the raceway, first run the raceway and then later put the cable, so you don't have to do this again, because I had to take it apart the outlet, and I have to tuck the cable inside of the hole, so that way I will have just enough to put the cable inside of the raceway. Otherwise, it was not going to work. But at the end, it was good, because everything worked out just fine, and it's good, so that way you know to what type of mistakes to avoid in this case. So another thing that I'm going to tell you is, when you have the outlets, and if you're going to sell your house and you have this type of outlet that it has the ground, but you don't have any ground because all the wiring is very old, it doesn't make any sense, because if you sell the house, the next guy is going to have someone to do a home inspection or something like that, and they will tell you, no, you're not on code, remove those outlets and put the one with one breaker, without the ground. Otherwise they are not going to approve it. So here it's very easy. Just try to remove the sticker on the other side and just cut it on the length that you need, and that's it. So as you can see, it's almost there in this case, but it was not going to fit, so I have to cut the end a little bit, so that way, like an inch just on that side, and then I'm going to cut the other side, so that way the cable can go just inside of that, or you can make it shorter and use the L to make it work. So in this case, I did this. It was the right thing to do. And once you have it there, push it in, and that's it. You have to grab it from the side in order to close it, because sometimes if you push it, it will not close. So if you grab it from the side, push it in, and that's it. So now you have to grab the L, as you can see here, put it there, done, and you do the same thing everywhere. So in this case, the faceplate, the hole that I made is not big enough, so I had to cut it a little bit more, and you do whatever you can. So in this case, you have two type of faceplate. You have the breakables and the one that are made of nylon. Usually this is nylon, so it's easier to work. The other one, it may break. You have some debris or something like that on the side, you can remove it. That is why plastic is way easier to work with. With the metal, it's a pain in the butt. Now you just screw it in, push it. You have to make sure that everything is right. That's it. In this case, like I said, I don't know, there is no power or nothing, so if you have to put the screwdriver a little bit inside of the hole to move it on the side or whatever, you can do that.
Alright, please turn on the power. Let's see if it goes. Alright, as you can see, it's looking great. So Now we need some power and that's it. All right, all looking good. So I just finished. I'm ready to go home now. So you can put you have to push it a little bit so that way it will fit great. I hope you have enjoyed this video. So as you can see, everything looking great. The customer was happy. And if you have any question, please let me know in the section below, and see you next class.